Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have a special guest that will talk about something that I think is very, very critical, and it's a very big factor to your profession and to running your business and your presentation, but not a lot of people are talking about it. So I'm glad to have Renee Lindo all the way from Canada on. So welcome to the show, Renee.
Thanks, Terrell. So excited to be here and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, before we jump into your business around the personal stylist and appearance, tell us a little bit about what was your background before you started this business?
Yes, so I come from a corporate background. So I built my career in pharmaceuticals. So I worked from in the West, in the Caribbean, US, and now most recently in Canada. I led a sales team and we launched a product into the Canadian market. And I just knew that it just no longer satisfied me. It really sucked my soul. I was no longer energized by that. And one day I looked around and I said, "Oh my goodness, I've reached to the top of this mountain, but I'm on the wrong mountain." Right? It was no longer what I enjoyed doing, and I knew there had to be a way that I could serve in a bigger way. At the level I had reached, there were no women were at my level, and so I said, I wonder what it is if I can help women to really feel confident, look good, to really put their hand up for more. I really wanted to try to do that because I knew when I look good, when I'm dressed and I walk into a space, I mean, the confidence it gives you, to ask for more, to do more, it really is remarkable. So I thought I'd take a chance on me. I've been very successful in corporate. I take a chance on me and see where and launch my business. And so that's how I started Let's Get Dressed Now.
Gotcha. Now, just before we jump into Let's Get Dressed, something that you said I thought was very interesting. Like I said, you climbed to the top of the mountain and realized, it was the wrong mountain. What were
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that made you realize, like, hey, this is the wrong mountain?
I was miserable. Sundays were tough in my household because Sundays I was miserable. I'd yell at my children because I knew the next day was work. When it was at the end of the week, I'd be excited for Friday, and by Saturday afternoon, I'd start to get that feeling in my stomach, like, oh my God, I only have one more day, right? I just didn't, and the job wasn't hard. I was very good at it. I was very successful, but it just sucked my soul. I didn't enjoy the work. I knew that there had to be more to life, more ways to contribute. And after you reach a certain level, you've made, a certain amount of money, you're like, okay, what else? There has to be more, right? Other ways that you can serve. And so since I really loved, as I said, fashion and style, I said, how can I put this together with my corporate background and really help women? And so
Gotcha.
that's where I landed.
Gotcha. Now, how much did your fashion and your style do you think that played into, like I said, your I guess you say your confidence level and your approach in your corporate field?
I didn't realize it at the time, I don't think, but looking back, now I know that, when I put myself together and I look good, it's like a suit of armor that I would put on. And I felt great. I felt I was indestructible. I felt that any challenge I could overcome. And if I was walking in or work training a rep and walking into a physician's office, and because I had that confidence, I wasn't afraid to ask for the business. I wasn't afraid to coach them along. Okay, this is how you frame it this way. So I really felt, and it may seem trivial and minute and not so important, but it's amazing. Clothes are transformative. It changes the way you feel. It also changes the way that people respond to you. So they're very powerful. I just don't think that we leverage them and use them to the fullest extent that we can in life in general.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now, with having that, that wisdom and that understanding about it, what was that journey like to now say, I'm going to build a business around, this wisdom?
So very unconventional. And probably not something I would recommend. I just one day I said, you know what, it's time for me to step away from corporate. I didn't really have a plan, but I knew that this was no longer my plan. And I said, okay, what do I like to do? And I put some things down, but this was always calling me. It was always, every time you get these questionnaires in your development, they say, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do if money was no object? And that always came up to me. It was always kind of whispering, but in my head, I'm like, how can I walk away from all of this? How can I, I'd be starting over from scratch and I'd reach the top, a very high level. How am I going to start back from ground zero? Which I really did not want to do at that time. But just over time, I just realized that, my mental sanity and how I really wanted to show up in the world as powerful, positive, completely engaged with life. And I said, no, I needed to take a chance. I said, I take a chance on me. So there really wasn't a plan, to answer your question. There was no plan. I thought about it and I said, okay, I'm gonna do this, right? And then I did some research. I started a boutique, sort of an online boutique and personal styling as a business together. And so I started them, and so here we are.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Now, was
Yeah.
there a lot of, I guess you say, encouragement that you had along the way, or were there any unusual challenges that came up throughout your journey?
I had encouragement, surprising, right? Because people, well, first you get, are you crazy? Oh my God. I mean, what are you doing? Even my husband said, just grin and bear it. I mean, you're doing well, you're so successful, just deal with it. It's not a big deal. And so I had done that for a while, and people looking in, everything looked great and rosy and, fantastic. You had all this autonomy. You have, I call them golden handcuffs, but it just wasn't for me, right? Right. I wasn't happy. Um, and so there was encouragement, like, yes, you can do it. Anything you put your mind to, you can do. So I do have quite a bit of that in my life, but definitely there were challenges, right? Because I didn't pivot. Like most people say, okay, they'll pivot. I started, it was like a complete 180 from something that I was very good at to something that I really didn't work in before, but I had the confidence in myself. I knew that, I can learn things, right? I had a growth mindset. And so I figured I'd give it a try. And I think,
Awesome.
the thing is, if you try and it didn't work, then I knew that there was always something that I could do. It wouldn't be the end of the world, or I didn't feel it was the end of the world, right? I have talents and transferable skills that I was confident that I could land somewhere. So, yeah.
Awesome. So when someone's looking to do business with you, what are the specific types of services that they can do business with you?
Sure. So there are a couple of different ways I work with clients. So usually I start off one-on-one and I'll help, women, usually it's corporate women who are progressing their career, or women going through any type of transition. They've just got divorced or married, weight loss, weight gain, or women who just are in a style rut and know that they need to show up better and feeling really great about themselves. So I one-on-one, and I usually we start in their closet. I get their closet working for them. You get rid of stuff that doesn't fit, that no longer suits their lifestyle, and really create a wardrobe where they can put great pieces together, put an outfit together that's easy to show up on a Zoom call, if they're running out the door for meetings, that really supports the image that they want to project. Because your style really is what you're projecting. It's how the world sees you, how you meet the world. So I work one-on-one with clients, and also I have a corporate client. So if corporate clients engage me to, deliver to their employees, I just did one on elevate your personal brand with style. So we talk to employees about elevating their brand. Even in the virtual realm, your brand is still important to remain visible and to still take control of that. And then also I have a coaching program, an 8-week coaching program. So people really want to get a fuller understanding of their body shape, what colors to wear, what accessories, how to shop online. So a whole 8-week program to really get women, it's a really, I call a style transformation, to get them from where they are to really where they want to be in terms of how they want to show up powerfully, confidently. So that, my goal really with my work is to hopefully help women to tell a consistent style story, right? And your style story is how you choose, as I said, to describe yourself by the clothing that you wear, and you do it with your style, and for that to be an integral part of your career package, right? Because we spend time thinking about resumes and resume writing and getting our skills updated, which are all very important, but your style also is how you package all of your goodness, and that's what people see first. And I really think that needs to be a consideration, an important consideration when you are, moving up the professional ranks, your corporate rank, and even in your life, right?
Mhm.
The
Awesome.
data is there, Terrell, that tells us that people make first impressions happen in the first 7 seconds, right?
Mhm.
So people make decisions about us quickly, and it's just by what we see. Before you even open your mouth, they decide if they like you, if you're competent, if you're confident, all of those things. It's important to get it right the first time.
Mhm.
And our nonverbal cues are 4 times more impactful than anything that we can say or do. So,
Wow.
how you look is important.
Now, do you find that people are understanding this now that we're in kind of this Zoom call, remote world? Or are people still embracing that, or people struggling with that?
Yeah, I find in the Zoom where people feel that they can show up in their PJs and they're okay. Honestly, I mean, I've seen some things. I think now it's gotten a little bit better. But when we started, people would show up, you know, pajamas, or just looking not like they were going to work. And it really is, the only thing that changed is the platform, right? You're still working, right? So it's still important. And I'm not suggesting that you're going to wear your 3-piece suit on your Zoom call, but there is a great medium between your pajamas and your 3-piece suit, and you can still be professional and comfortable, right? Because when you think about it, on your Zoom call or in the virtual realm, everybody sees you. You're much more visible, right? And even maybe if people would not have flown in to visit you at your site or to attend a meeting, because it's virtual, many more people many times are attending these calls. So you have more visibility, right? And so it's important that you really control the narrative of your personal brand, and that you're projecting the image that you want people to know you for. Virtual, very important.
Awesome, awesome. Now,
Yeah.
where can people find you online, and where can they find you on social media if they want to do business with you?
Sure. So I'm on LinkedIn, Renee Lindo, LinkedIn. Usually I hang out there quite a bit. I'm on Instagram as well under my company, Let's Get Dressed Now. And my website is letsgetdressednow.com.
Awesome, awesome. Now, Renee,
Yeah.
before we wrap up, one question that I like to ask all of the guests that come on is, when you think about, your journey and you think about your experiences as a business owner, what are 2 pieces of advice that you would share with other entrepreneurs?
Well, the first thing I'd say is to know where your customers are. So meaning that, when I started, Insta, I said, okay, I'm going to do Instagram. Yes, I knew who my customers were. So you have to be clear on who your customer is and know where they are. So I knew who she was. She's a professional. She's, late 30s into 40s, and she's building her brand or her career. And I said, okay, Instagram, tons of women are on Instagram. So that's where I spend time. And I just found that, I wasn't really getting the types of attention or traction that I had expected. And then when I made the decision to move over to LinkedIn back in March, it has been completely different. And then what I realized is that, yes, even though my customer may be on Instagram, when they're on Instagram, what's the mindset? I find them on Instagram, people are scrolling, right? They want to be entertained, the pretty pictures, inspiration. They're not really in the mindset of business. That has been my experience. I know tons of people make tons of money on Instagram, but for me and what I'm trying to do, and then when I moved over to LinkedIn, completely different, because women on LinkedIn, they are building their careers, they're working, they are advancing themselves in their roles, and so they are in the mindset of, okay, what can I do to improve? How can I put, if I need to dress or learn how to dress so that I am prepared for this role. So that was the mindset, and the conversations are different on LinkedIn. So I encourage you to think about where your customers are and what mindsets are they in when they are there, and spend your time there. That has been, a complete game changer for me in my business. And then the other thing I would share is, don't look at vanity metrics. Yes, they're there, all the likes and all that, but sometimes we get bummed on, like, oh my gosh, nobody's liking me, or my post didn't get any views. What is important is to understand that people are still watching. People are watching you, even though they may not comment or they may not like. I've gotten DMs from people who I've never seen them comment on a post, but there's a DM to work with me or to give an opportunity to speak at in their corporate, at their office. So don't give the vanity metrics as much attention. Put out good content, be consistent, know who your customer is, speak to that customer, and keep showing up.
Awesome. Well, Renee, thank you so much for coming on the interview, for sharing your story, as well as telling us about your business, and for sharing your wisdom. We really appreciate having you on the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Terrell. Thanks for having me. It was great.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to click the subscribe button and follow us on all social media platforms as the Business Talk Library.